So one of the things that I've been doing the last few days while being in the lockdown is practicing Metta. Metta is loving kindness meditation for compassion. So the technique of Metta is very simple. You bring up the people that you want to quote unquote bless into your awareness. And then you just send them love. You genuinely wish them to be happy. So imagine this energy going out through your heart or whatever, and then you just sort of engulf them with love and kindness and compassion. And you want to make sure that the images of those people that you generate are as clearly held in your mind as possible. So this also trains your imagination power, concentration, samadhis, clarity, and equanimity. And not just visually, but emotionally too. You want to be able to really imagine what the other person would feel like when they're genuinely happy. You may start with the people that's closest to you and increase the intensity of the contemplative fitness exercise by including strangers or people that you dislike to all of sentient beings on the planet. That's like moving from lifting the bar to squatting 1,000 pounds, which is doing metta to the people that you absolutely despise.
You got some meta games, bro. See, before my awakening, when I was doing meta,
it wasn't the ideal way to do it because at that time, I was still a separate self. There's still a meditator inside this mitsu, meditating to objects or the world out there. To meditate from the awakened perspective, it literally feels like the whole universe is just meditating to itself. The quote-unquote God's infinite mind is knowing itself. It's not even meditating anymore. When you've entered non-duality, where there's completely no separation between the subject and the object, that there is really no meditator. I could be sitting here and the universe would be meditating to itself, and the character, the Mitsu, Frank Yang, would just be one of the objects of meditation.
If you still feel like you're seeing those eyeballs, so that thoughts are inside your head, then you're still inside the matrix. If there's still a duality, identification with the feminine, with the masculine, you're still in the matrix.
The final step is to turn awareness onto itself.
Before, when I was doing metta,
If there's still attachment between this or that,
I was reinforcing the character
unnecessary
as the compassionate person. And see, that's reinforcing that separation again. And reinforcing the identity of being a compassionate person. A lot of people, especially people in Taiwan, in Asia, that get into Buddhism and all they do is practice compassion. If you only practice compassion without wisdom, which is recognizing and getting direct experiential insights into reality, you are not going to wake up. But most traditions encourage the practitioner to work on both axes at the same time. Why? Because if you are committing a lot of incompassionate acts, or if you are doing a lot of shady stuff that's unethical, your mind is going to be cluttered and clouded by and with karma and all the quote unquote shady deeds that you're doing. You're not going to have a clarity of mind to penetrate directly into reality and gain insight into quote unquote no self, emptiness, infinity, impermanence. So the ideal way to practice metta is after you dissolve completely all the boundaries between you and existence, by unhooking awareness from inside your head. And that's why cultivating samadhi and absorption is important. See, keep in mind that when I use the word mind or awareness or consciousness to pinpoint your natty state, which cannot be speak of, I am not referring to mental processes, brains, or some other substances inside your head, but the transparent, boundless, inconceivable space. That's the best metaphor, although it's not quite that either. That not just surrounds you infinitely, but it's inside you as well. The space that's looking out through your eyes right now.
It's the same as that, which is looking in.
And all the objects, meat suits, sky, animals, they're just forms, appearances, phenomenons vibrating out of thin air. And again, emptiness and form are identical. Once you abide in this infinite space, gently hold the people that you want to wish happy and engulf them and massage them like vast, spacious blanket, and then dissolve them particle by particle like doing Vipassana. But adding that extra spice of loving kindness and send them back to the source as the source. And if you're doing metta from this ultimate perspective, the meditator or your own meat suit should be perceived as a third person entity that's waiting in line amongst infinite number of other entities to be blessed by the Godhead. And one cheat code that I like to use to make this process easier is to generate a cosmic heart through this empty space. And because this emptiness is devoid of boundaries and separations, it has the intrinsic property of love, the capital L. So it's by default compassionate already. You don't really have to, like a lot of instructions they tell you to utter mantras like may all beings be happy, things like that. But I think that's just creating more filters again. See, compassion and empathy are different in the sense that you don't have to feel other people's suffering to be compassionate. The goal is to reduce the overall suffering in the world. Compassion is the ability to do something about other people's suffering without feeling their pain through equanimity. Imagine that before the path started, you are a block of ice, and like the reverse of bodybuilding, the more contemplative fitness exercises that you do, you start to dissolve into water and then vapor and then thin air. And other people also go through the same process. That's why Buddha said that when he woke up, the whole universe woke up with him, and everything just mingled into each other and morphed and penetrated into each other.